Let's be for real. You don't want to be creative, you want to be liked. In the age of sellouts, grifters, and AI, it's easy to slap on the label of creative without having to make anything real. But this cloud chasing approach is only keeping you stuck and creatively blocked without you even realizing it. That's why in today's episode, we are talking about why genuine creativity starts by following your own curiosities, not chasing approval. Hi, I'm Renata McAlvany, a creativity coach for neurodivergent and multi-passionate women of color with over 10 years of experience in the creative industry and a lifetime creating for self-care. And in this show, we talk about creativity not just as a hobby, but as a tool for self-discovery, healing, joy, and everything in between. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive in. Today, we're talking about what happens when being liked matters more than making art. This is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while because this is something that has been weighing heavy on my heart. But not only that, it's been living rent free in my mind. And I think this is so rampant in the online world, in creative spaces, and yet this goes unnoticed. This becomes blatantly obvious when you're consuming videos on TikTok or short form videos in general, where the whole goal is to keep you hooked and entertained. It's easy to be tricked into the idea that all you need to call yourself creative is hoard a bunch of art materials, talk about ideas that you have but never actually do anything, or think that AI is going to do the thinking for you. Basically calling yourself a creative person without having to create anything real for yourself, and wearing this as a label without living the lifestyle. But here's the truth: if you're not practicing and making things often, can you really call yourself creative? I genuinely believe that half of the reason why people struggle to call themselves creative confidently is because they don't practice their craft. They like the idea of doing something creative, but they don't actually put in the work. So if you're struggling to be creative, I need you to be honest with yourself and really ponder and reflect on whether or not you like creating things. And if you're watching this show, I'm going to assume that you genuinely want to be creative. Maybe your challenge isn't about having the right tools or having enough discipline, but about a fundamental misunderstanding of what creativity is truly all about. So let's talk about it. Here's the problem with chasing clout, virality, attention without actually doing something of substance. We live in the age of the grifter, the sellout, the poser, a time where people don't have to be passionate or care about anything seriously. You can just do whatever is trending for the sake of money, fame, and influence. Folks are really concerned with aesthetics, with having an identity, especially if you're a young person and you're growing up with the online world. There's a real pressure to figure out where you belong, and people are constantly shape shifting and going left and right. And I don't mean that just politically, but like in general, right? Like people are going all over the place, changing who they are to fit the mold, to fit whatever is going on in the moment. And once they get bored or the trend fades, they just move on to the next thing without a care in the world, without thinking about the impact that they've had on the people that were following them, that were watching them. They end up taking up space and never actually contributing anything of value, anything of substance to the world and to creativity. It's like a switch got turned on, and people truly believe that all they have to do is call themselves whatever label they want, and they don't have to put in any work. You can see this in the attitude that many people have. For example, I've seen people who buy a bunch of books and never read them, people who amass large amounts of art supplies but feel too afraid to ruin them, or people who purchase a bunch of gear and never actually make videos. We mistake creating for amassing materials, for talking and talking about the amazing ideas that we have but never executing them, or thinking that we can offload our thinking and our imagination to AI. None of this is creative, period, point blank. You're not making anything. You're not going inward and trying to understand yourself, trying to figure out what it is that you actually want to express. You are using creativity as a reason to buy more stuff. And worst of all, you're more focused on appearing artsy, mysterious, than actually enjoying yourself and growing as a person. Here's the thing, as a creativity coach, my job is to encourage you to be creative. But if there was ever a thing that makes somebody a wannabe creative, is this: not spending time on your craft and not making anything. Because honestly, this is the bare minimum. And here's what happens when we treat creativity as a trend, an aesthetic, a performance that I believe a lot of us understand at a subconscious level. Creativity becomes shallow, passive, and performative. You stop being a maker and you turn into a consumer, somebody that is constantly chasing trends and looking for their next temporary dopamine hit. And that dopamine is not coming from a genuine place of joy of making something for yourself. It's coming from performing creativity online, from talking about what you have and what you want to do, but not actually achieving fulfillment from making something. So, what happens when the views slow down, when the algorithm doesn't favor you, when you have to be by yourself in solitude and quiet, all by yourself? This is where the true creative work lives. It's slow, it's not glamorous, and it asks for genuine grit, devotion, and practice. This is what separates real creatives from wannabe creatives and culture vultures who just take what sounds cool, what sounds exciting, without paying respect, without honoring where things come from or the effort and the meaning behind it. And worst of all, we become insecure because we don't feel like we can call ourselves creative because we don't have a consistent practice. So, what's the alternative, you might be asking yourself? It's simple: fall in love with the process, develop a practice, learn to enjoy showing up, not just the idea or thinking about being creative. Now, let me share a little bit of my own story, a little bit of my own experience coming into visual art and what inspired me. For anybody that knows me, you know that I love punk rock music, and it's something that has had a huge impact on me and continues to influence me in my work to this day. And particularly, what made the biggest impact was the punk rock ethos of DIY, of do it yourself. And when I was growing up, I didn't know anything. And I remember being so impacted by the fact that people were starting bands without necessarily knowing how to play instruments. They were jumping on a stage and screaming their guts out. And I just thought that that was so empowering to see people not waiting for permission, not asking if it was okay to do something. They simply took matters into their own hands and started doing the thing that they wanted without perfection, without a budget. It was all very scrappy and very much do it yourself. It was all about doing the most with whatever you had. It was all about expressing raw and honest emotion and being the furthest away that you could possibly be from perfectionism. Another thing that really inspired me was album art. I still collect vinyls to this day, and ever since I was a child, I love pulling out the booklet, reading the lyrics, spending time with the music, and analyzing logos. I paid attention. I wanted to understand what makes something timeless versus something that isn't. I would study the layouts and try to figure out why something felt magnetic. And this is the beginning of my passion for graphic design, for art, for expression. But I what I think I took away from this whole experience was always feeling and being able to notice the passion that was put into this product, the love that was put into this product, where it wasn't about perfectionism, it was about expressing a feeling. And I think that's why I love music so much, because music is one of the art forms that expresses feelings so freaking amazingly. And yeah, we could argue about that because I'm sure like other people might not agree with me, but I think music is the best at doing that. So that is how I fell in love with visual art, with design, with punk music, all these things that I'm super into. They didn't happen because it was trendy on TikTok. It wasn't something that someone told me was cool to do. It's something that I genuinely cared about and something that I've been growing my knowledge and understanding of as time goes by. And that's how most of us fall in love with our craft. It's something about it that moved us enough for it to become a passion for us to devote our lives to doing it. Pure curiosity, genuine passion, that's the real thing. Here's what I want you to remember: creativity is not just a label, it's a way of life. If you're creating to impress others, you're missing the point entirely. Creativity is about connecting with yourself. It's about going inward and discovering who you are. It's making things with whatever you have. It's having a good time while you're doing it. It's not about performance, it's about practicing. So turn off your phone, grab your materials, and make something, anything, today. If you enjoy this episode, please like and subscribe. And if you want more personalized support, check out my 12-week coaching journey, Build a Creative Habit. This is a perfect space for you to get the support and the guidance you need from me to help you to slow down, let go of the grind, and actually build a creative practice that feels gentle, joyful, and sustainable. To get all the details, find the link in the show's description, and don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you on the next one. Until then, stay creative. Bye.